Good evening, race fans. Welcome to tonight. This is race number 3. We have tiers 1 and 2. Around here in Hungary, we have ourselves for this evening, or this afternoon, I should say, in the beautiful sunshine. We have 8 turns to the right, 6 to the left. That is 2 times DRS zones, 1, of course, down the main straight, as you all know. And then straight after turn 2, it is a double whammy for DRS zones heading down into turn 3. Passing opportunities, as far as we know, are heading into turns 1, 2, and 12 mostly, but you just never know. It is such a high downforce track. These cars are likely going to be running in the 30s or 40s in their wings. Super high downforce. Clockwise racing track. We have 35 laps is the distance, 4.381 kilometres. It's going to be an absolute banger, and of course, as ever, you guys know who he is. It is a wonderful pleasure to bring the man himself into the seat next to me in Skyrace Control. Some of you know him as Mr. Consistency and the Tier 2 champion just a few moments ago. Wasn't even that long ago. He was doing an absolute banger in Tier 2. He's the man himself and a brother I never had. Joey, welcome along.
Thanks, Martin Brundle. Great intro. Fabulous to be here at Hungary for Inters Racing League. This is race 3 of Preseason. We actually have a third commentator in with us today for a few special comments and just learning the ropes with the new system that we have in place with our stream manager, Wayne. So I'd like to welcome in Cool Boy.
Thanks, lads. Thanks for having me in here tonight. I've been very excited all day for this. I'm back. I've had my break from commentating, and should be a good year for commentary, and should be a fun season. Thanks, lads.
Yeah. Definitely, Cool Boy. Yeah, it's good to have you here, mate. And you're fresh off the track. You just actually raced in the Tier 3 and Tier 4 race just a few hours ago, and I think you managed the P4, was it?
Yes, P4.
Yeah, tremendous racing there, mate. So good showing out there on track today, and good to have you in the comments box. So, look, just while we've got you hot on the mic, would you mind running us through a few of these new drivers that we've got out on track, as Martin and I don't have a lot of information on these. So maybe you could just start on Scotty 793. I believe he's in the Williams today.
Yes, Scotty. Scotty is a former All-Sorel driver last year in Tier 1. He was he's a very fast driver. He is very quick. He's a challenger in Tier 1 and All-Sorel. He finished top 10 in the championship for his first ever season in All-Sorel Tier 1. He went from Tier 2 2 seasons ago in All-Sorel up to Tier 1 and finished P10 in the championship. So now this year he is a captain of All-Sorel, and he is a very fast driver, and a lot of drivers trust him, and hopefully Inters will trust him, and hopefully he's a former champion in Inters.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty impressive resume there from Scotty. Thanks for that, Cool Boy. As we see him just coming out onto track out of pits and got out of the way of what he got there. All right, let's move on to another new driver. Let's go to Roscoe. If we can go down to P16, looks like Roscoe's in the Ferrari, just pulling out of the pits right now. What have you got the word on him?
Roscoe, he's a very brave driver. He's a no assist driver. He races no assist, no line, nothing at all. He is a former Tier 2 All-Sorel, OCE, and a few other leagues he does. He's a very quick driver. He loves to challenge people. He loves to have some great battles, so I'm sure Broseph and Martin would love the battles that he has on the racetrack. But yeah, he's a very consistent driver. He knows how no assist works. Yeah, very competitive.
That's great, and we see Roscoe's actually on the medium, so that's a bit of a tactic that he's pulled out already. And there's one more, Toxic Toast. What do you know about Toxic?
Toxic. I haven't really raced with him in my career of sim racing, but I do know he is a quick driver. He loves to have some fun battles. I'm not really sure about his championship results or whatever. He races in DRS. He loves racing. And he's a newcomer in Inters, so I think Inters will be very happy to have him here. And hopefully, again, he's a former champion one day.
Okay.
That's what we love to see.
Yeah, no doubt. TPs will be taking notes on all these new drivers. That's fabulous information. Thank you, Martin. If you could just get us up to speed with what's going on out on track, who's leading the pace out there?
So currently, Joey, we've got KLX 789 with a 116.115 currently sitting in the pit lane. He has done his lap. He has set an absolute banger. Jedley, P2, Matty AU, Medi, and Buster rounding out your top 5. There is about 1.1 seconds separating the top 5. Lorenzbro, Jaco, Karama, Almighty Goblin, Ron Burgundy. Ron Burgundy actually yet to set a lap. So the top 9 have set laps. Almighty Gob with a 29.13. I imagine that man will be strapping on a new set of shoes. He's probably out there just scrubbing some softs. And he's going to go and refuel that car, get his iron, and try and run another banger. We've got Broken Reptile and Numbnuts on an outlap at the current time.
Let's get on board with Broken Reptile.
Let's get on board with Broken Reptile and just run ourselves a lap around here at the Hungaro ring. So turn 1 into the second DRS zone. It's such a high downforce track. You've just got to really maximize your apex speed if you can. Touch that curb there. You're going to try and sit on the outside curb just a little bit if you want, all over that curb under the Pirelli sign. This is a fantastic corner. This is also called the Mansell corner. Nigel Mansell, of course, making a fantastic run in his day, heading around into the middle sector. You've got to be very careful on these apexes. There's a McLaren round. I'm not sure who that is, but about the 50 metre board, you are leaping hard on the brakes here for the chicane. Just mash round. Apparently, you just have to keep all of the speed you can through this sector of the race. You've got to make those apexes, make all of those aprons, all of those exit curbs, and just go as flat as you can while nursing that Haas round. He is doing a wonderful job. Just lifts off a wee bit there. You do want to try and go flat round there, but we do know Broken Reptile has got a fantastic pace in the car into the final sector. We're going to head down towards the penultimate turn number 13. Towards turn, of course, Max Verstappen spun here last year, but still came back to have a fantastic race. The final turn number 14. This is going to be an average lap for Broken Reptile. We do expect a lot more time out of this man's car, but coming across the line, he does put himself into P7, a 117.554 as he comes across a lot of traffic exiting the pit lane. That wasn't a bad lap, plus 1.4 on the lead car, Broken Reptile P8. I reckon we're going to see that Haas a bit further up the field. Joey, what's your forecast?
Oh, that was a great call there. Look, Broken Reptile, we know from last season he was Mash's teammate in that Haas, so he'll be very familiar in that car, and he's a great driver. He was way up the field, up the top for most of the races. Tremendous effort from him. As we know, you touched on KLX, who was runner-up in Tier 1 last season to Prince. So KLX is clearly one of the premium drivers we have at Inter's Racing League. He's actually in Alpine at the moment, so it'll be interesting where he's going to get drafted. I wouldn't mind seeing him in an AlphaTauri this season. Of course, we have Numbnuts, aka Tyler, in P2 at the moment, and he was a late arrival, but it's great to see Tyler here. He's back again. He was in and out last season, but he's looking to cement a full-time seat again. He's definitely one of the quickest drivers out there, and he's high on my list for Tier 1 this season. Jedley, very impressive as well. Jedley, we know him. He's actually moved up a tier this season. So along with Matty AU, who's actually a team principal in Aston Martin this season. He's a great admin that we have here at Inters. He's moved up a tier. Matty also, his teammate in Aston Martin at the moment. So he's moved up a tier. Of course, Buster, who has impressed me very much since his arrival onto the scene as a driver and as a bloke as well. Lorenzo, bro, in P7, we actually know him as Mercedes fan in Tier 3 as Mert's teammate, battling very hard to the end of the season there. Look, we've got some quality drivers out here. It's a very impressive field. Of course, Jacko, he's in the AlphaTauri, but he will be a team principal of Haas this season. Ron Burgundy is, as we know, we raced against Ron in Tier 1, and gee, when he arrived midway through the season, he was very impressive as well. Yeah. Just keep me up with the action at the moment. Martin, who are you on board with currently?
Just currently sitting with Matty AU, Joey, who is on an outlap. He's just almost lost the car there on an outlap. He has invalidated, but it is only his outlap, so that doesn't matter at this stage. He'll be warming up that soft set of shoes that he's got on that car, on that Aston Martin, a beautiful looking car in the sunshine here in Hungary this afternoon. I see Karama has actually just gone a 16 flat almost, so he has topped the tables. KLX jumped down to P2, Numbnuts, Tyler of course down in P3, but we might just sit with Matty AU at this stage and just see if he can improve on that P5. I know Matty AU has got a lot of pace in the car. The Aston Martin is a very quick car. as we've seen in the past. Of course, there goes a McLaren coming out of the pit lane, but down into turn number 1. I reckon he's got a top 5 time in this car at this stage, but of course there is a few new drivers racing tonight, Joey, and we just don't actually know. It's a bit of a mixed bag, mate. A bit of a mixed bag as to who's really going to be in the top 5 or top 10 even. Lorenzbro, Toxic Toast, of course Ron Burgundy, I reckon, has got a lot of pace in that car as well, on that wonderful McLaren car, of course. As we were saying on last night, I'm a big McLaren fan, and Mash is actually in a McLaren, which surely I can nail that today. Mash in the Mashclaren. I mean, it's the Mashclaren. I nailed it first time. It just rolls straight off the tongue. There you go, Mash. If you're listening out there, mate, the Mashclaren. I'm not going to balls it up this season, mate. I'm all over that stuff. So, Matty, are you looking for a good time? I haven't seen any purple sectors yet at this stage of his lap, but under the DHL, into turn number 13 we go. He's going to want to carry as much speed as he can, try and make the most of this final sector as he's going to be coming around. Let's have a look as he goes across the line. It looks like he might improve actually coming across. He does go P5. I knew he had a P5 or top 5 in his pocket. So, mate, it's a mixed bag at this stage with just over 6.5 minutes left in this qualifying session, Joey.
Yeah, of course, Mash yet to set a time. I'm a little bit worried about Mash. He was beached on one of the curbs earlier. We saw him facing the wrong way, and he did everything he could to try and get off that curb. I think he had to do a reset to track, but, we're going to let that one slide during preseason. And, we'd love to see the Tier 2 champion out there actually post a time and put himself up, I'd imagine, in the top 5. I've got to say I'm pretty impressed with Matty AU in the top 5 as he's moved up a tier. Kaipi, he was a late arrival this evening. We know him. He was in the Ferrari last season in Tier 1. Very quick. I think he was a race winner as well. He's been impressive. And look, I don't know if anyone's going to get in the 115s at the moment. We've got Karuma just on the edge of the 115s. Karuma, of course, the French croissant crusher himself. He's very rapid. Of course, last season I believe he had a broken arm and had to pull out. And so I believe he's fully recovered and he's back to dominate the field again. We know he's very quick, and there goes Mash with a 116 flat right behind KLX there. So I'm actually looking forward to those two battling in Tier 1, and of course, Martin will be calling the entirety of Tier 1 next season. It'll be just epic.
Mate, I can't wait. It's going to be such a good season. A lot of quality drivers out there, mate. Some very, very good race etiquette. As Mash does a wee bit of Jim's mowing there on turn number 3. That was a little bit interesting for him. I'm really looking forward to this race, Joey. I love Hungary. I love that it's such a high downforce track. Tyre degradation is not such a problem, but I'll tell you what is a problem around here, mate, is tyre temperatures. So if these guys have got a huge, Odyssey does go a little bit of grass mowing there again. If these guys have got such high downforce, they're going to be absolutely pummeling their accelerator pedal as we do get the commentator's curse on Mash onto the grass. He goes. Jim's mowing. .co.nz, matey.
Maddie's just put himself up in the top 5 in the Aston Martin with a 116.3, so just behind Tyler. That's a very impressive time from Maddie. Of course, he'll be moving up from Tier 3 last season. He'll be a Tier 2 driver, so I'll be competing against him, as will you, Martin Brundle. We'll be looking forward to that. He's a quality bloke, Maddie.
He's 100% a quality bloke, and I just can't wait to go up against some of these guys. Tier 2 course. Myself and you, Joey, were in Tier 1 last season. For those who are unaware of that, we didn't do too bad. I think P9 and P10 we managed overall in the championship. Of course, you yourself, Joey, the man himself, Mr. Consistency. There was never any doubt that you were going to be in the top 10. A bit of a surprise for me, I'll be honest, to get P9, but...
Well, mate, I cooked the numbers a bit, to be honest, because I didn't include any of the reserves and those guys that scored, so Cool Boy will actually probably chirp up here. He scored more points than both of us, and he was a reserve, but I didn't count any of the reserves and their points, so that's how we finished in the top 10 in Tier 1, all right? Just for any of you listening, pipe down.
All right, Cool Boy, have you got anything to say about that, mate?
Well, I did also get my first ever Tier 1 podium on the first round of Bahrain, so...
Alright, that's enough from Cool Boy. Thanks, mate. Alright, we're going to jump on board with... it looks like we've got an Alpha Tauri getting around there. Let's get on with Jacko, alright? We know Jacko, he finished It was either, I think it was P3 in Tier 1 at the end of last season. Jacko is one of the fastest blokes that we've got in Inters Racing League. He is a veteran, classic racer. Of course, you remember he had a massive, a massive power slide in Japan, I think it was a couple of seasons ago, which made the highlights on Inter's IG page. So if you want to go there and check it out, there's classic music behind that, and it was something that will go down in history. There's no doubt about that. So Jacko's the team principal at Haas next season, and yeah, actually voted him in to be one of the team principals. I think he's going to do a stellar job. He loves his F1 racing, and like I said, he's sitting on the carpet using his controller, and I don't know how he's that quick.
Totally agree. I don't know how these guys are so fast on controller, Joey. I tried it probably about a month ago. I jumped on. I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a crack at a controller. I sucked. It was just absolutely terrible, and I don't know how these guys do it. There's just such little movement in that little stick on the controller. You know, you sort of turn it, and all of a sudden you spun around and you're on the grass, and you go, well, hang on a second, that's not what I meant to do. But of course, right. Those of us that have evolved to a wheel, and it's just something else with the pedals and the springs and stuff. A lot of us, of course, spend a lot of money on these things that we race with. And we do hope to gain a few tenths, but it's all just a bit of fun at the end of the day. So whether you're on a controller or an old bloody stick made of wood, I couldn't care less. It's all just a bit of fun, you know. It's all just about getting out there with your buddies. Or the old Atari stick, Nintendo gamepad.
Yes, I'm that old. Yeah.
I think we're all that old.
Just a reminder to the viewers out there tonight, this is pre-season and all the team principals are watching, and this race is really for the draft, for these drivers to put on a showcase of their driving skill, their etiquette. You know, we don't want drivers trying to really win the race, especially in the first couple of laps. We'd rather them just hold position and show us what they can do out on track, you know, taking overtakes where it's necessary and not causing too much drama out there, because this is there's not many opportunities to put yourself out there in the eyes of the team principals. So if any of those drivers are listening, just pay attention to that, please.
100%. So,
look at the Alpha Tauri's P1, P2. Jacko
P1,
just puts in a
P2.
1:15.8.
That is an absolute bees. The difference, there is not a huge amount there.
Not much in that at
Karama
all.
is actually on an outlap again.
So we're going to go on board with Karama at the moment. Run us through the lap if you don't mind, Martin.
Oh, by crikey, I'd absolutely love to, Joey. As we do head down, 28 seconds to go. He is going to absolutely be pummeling this one. There's not much in it between him and Jaco in P2, but let's just have a wonderful, wonderful lap around Hungary. Around turn 14 we go. He is going to be very, very early on the throttle, as early as he can, flicking that DRS open. What did I say last night? Flicking that DRS open like a windmill, mate. Like a windmill down to turn 1. It's actually quite a short run down to turn 1. A little bit deceiving. You've got to watch that apex, not hit it too hard, and try and keep as much speed as you can under the F122 sign. You've just got to squeeze the brakes so gently. There's not much of a curb there to touch, but you can ride it if you need to over the curb, round into turn 3, heading up towards, of course, Mansell Corner, where he overtook Ayrton Senna in 1989 for a wonderful, wonderful moment in history, around into turn 5. Coming up behind that Ferrari, he's going to be looking to get himself a slipstream, Joey. He's going to try and get in behind the gearbox of that Ferrari. I'm not sure who that is, but this is a very, very tight sector. This is where the very high downforce is going to be making the most of the speed, squeezing that throttle, making the apex, almost going offline there, but there hasn't been a purple sector just yet, I don't think, but he is going to be an absolute banger as we head down there. There's a yellow flag. He's getting a tow. Is that Roscoe in front? It could well be. No, it's Mash Jr. Mash gets a fast 15.7. Karama's going to try and really, really get as much as he can out of turn 13, heading towards the pit lane around turn number 14. Is he going to make that apex work? He's just going to make it an absolute banger down the main straight. Flick that DRS button. What's going to happen is he goes across with a 15.6. There was the tow. That's got to be the tow.
Wow.
100%. That's a great lap from Karama. That is just a fraction over a tenth in front of Mash in the Mash Claren. I nailed that again. Jaco down to P3. A few cars are retiring at this stage of the race. And that is qualifying done.
Yeah, give that man a glass of water. Well done. Well done,
Karama.
Yep. Great lap, mate. Mash, I've got to say, well done as well. At 15.7, if you had a tow like that, you probably would have peeled off a couple of tenths as well. Jaco in P3. Wouldn't expect anything less. Now, DTR No Jug, he was a late arrival last season to Inters, and I've got to say, he is one of the fastest blokes in all of Inters Racing League, so keep your eye on No Jug. He is very, very quick. KLX, of course, P5, one of the stalwarts here. Tyler, P6. Medi up in P7, that's very impressive from Medi, who's moving up a tier. Buster, P8, I'd expect him in the top 10. Lorenzo Bro, Mercedes fan, very impressive, P9, moving up a tier as well from last season. So, yeah, I mean, pretty impressive qualifying, you've got to say. There are a bunch of cars that actually broke into the 115. I wasn't sure if we were going to get any there, but very rapid cars out there tonight. Cool Boy, what are your thoughts on qualifying so far, and which drivers actually impressed you, mate?
Oh, yeah, some drivers that definitely impressed me was a Mass Junior, the former Div 2 driver. A 15.7, what a lap, man. He has improved ever since I remember racing him in Div 2. He must have so much practice during the break in New Year's and Christmas, because he is getting to that point where he is rapid. Another one would be Karma. I remember him, he was a newcomer, and he wasn't as fast as that. He was around Prince, but he wasn't really that much like off the pace of Prince. So yeah, Karma, really impressive. So Mass Junior, Karma, and Jaco, wow. A lot of amazement from those three.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just rounding out that top 10, it was Kuiper you squeezed in there in P10, Scotty P11, Matty AU P12, Ron Burgundy P13, Jedley, P14, T8 Unit, Roscoe, Broken Reptile, Almighty Gob, and Toxic Toast was rounding out the grid there. Martin.
Mate, I'll be honest, I sort of thought Ron Burgundy might be up a little bit further than where he was. P13 Ron Burgundy in that McLaren. Maybe he just had a bit of a tough time. I know Hungary's a bit of a hard track, but I just sort of thought a wee bit more pace in that car. Matty AU thought he'd be up a little bit further, but it's not over yet. That was just qualifying. It is a track that sort of, hopefully safety cars don't breed safety cars, but we all do know that because they're so keen to get on the throttle in that middle to late sector, there's a chance to be a safety car, to be honest.
Yeah, I got some feedback from one of the team principals today, I won't mention him, Jacko, and told me this was the worst track to do driver evaluations on, so sorry about that, mate. But yeah, look, I guess with Ron Burgundy, maybe this isn't his favourite track. Yeah, and just maybe a little bit off the pace, you're right, but yeah, look, anything can happen during the race. We probably will expect a couple of incidents with all of these drivers just feeling their way out. A couple of mix of Tier 1 and Tier 2 drivers. So, yeah, as I said, they're just going to feel their way through it. And hopefully there's not too many big crashes and we get through it unscathed.
I agree, mate. So, air temperature 27 degrees today. Track temperature 24. It's a wee bit cooler than they'd probably like out there on the Hungary track. So it may take a lap or so to get these tyres up to temperature, but as we were saying earlier, it is definitely a track where tyre temperature is a major player. So these guys are going to be running the minimum, absolutely minimal tyre pressures. It's going to be interesting to see who goes probably hards from the start, I'll be honest. I can't imagine anyone's going to go for the soft tyre for most of the race. But we do have Roscoe and Toxic Toast on the soft. I would have thought hards would be the player, but personally I go mid to hard because I like to wait for that sort of a third into the race there's going to be a safety car, and I wonder if that's what some of these drivers are going to be banking on, Joey.
Well, I can tell you, Karuma up in P1, he's on the medium, and then we've got the next 4 drivers on hards, 3 drivers after that on mediums, the next 2 hards, the next 4 mediums, and then hard, soft, medium, hard, soft. So there's quite a balance of tyres in there. Strategy is definitely going to come into play here today. So sit back and enjoy race 3 of preseason here at Inters Racing League as we see KLX, I believe, or Scotty just put it into the wall there. I think it was KLX.
So we might sit ourselves with Tyler, with Numbnuts, IRL Numbnuts 223 for the start of this race and just see exactly what happens as it unfolds. I can't wait, mate. Let's go.
I'll sit right behind him on Buster, so you stay on Tyler and I'll see what happens behind him.
100% sounds great, mate. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it is lights out and away we don't go, because there is a glitch in the lobby like we did have a little bit last night, but it is race time. Not a bad start from all the drivers at this stage. They are spreading themselves out again like cornflakes on a breakfast table, but they're going to go four wide into turn one. There's an Alpha 10, there's good crikey, there's Alfa Romeo, there's Alpines, there's all sorts of things. They are switching and mixing all over the shop. Alfa Romeo, everybody gets out clean though. Can you believe it? Absolutely wonderful start from Jaco, who gets ahead of Mash Jr., No Jug, Tyler P5, Scotty P6. That's looking fantastic at the start of the race. Nobody has crashed out. Roscoe is up a few places into P number 13 on those soft. He's going to be making the most of this at this stage of the race. What else is going on, Joey? What can you see? There's stuff all over the place.
I'm seeing Maddie just put a magnificent move up on the inside of KLX in P16 and P17. So Maddie's actually on the medium, so he's got a bit more life in those tyres than the hard runners either side of him at the moment, being Kaipi and KLX. So KLX is just going to look to bring those tyres into a better heat before he gets going. Of course, he'll be back up on top of the field in no time, knowing his pace and consistency. We'll move a little bit further up. Let's get on board with Roscoe in P13 at the moment in the Ferrari on the softs, because I believe he's going to be pushing those softs as hard as he can in the next couple of laps, Martin.
I totally agree, man. He's going to want to make the most of those. Honestly, they're going to last about 5 laps. I reckon 5 laps, as Karama goes with a 28.8. We should be getting a wee bit lower than that race pace as the race goes on, as the fuel load lightens, as the McLaren is having a look on the McLaren of Ron Burgundy, having a look up the inside of T8 unit in that Red Bull. The soft runners, Roscoe and Toxic Toast. Toxic Toast, unfortunately, must have got some damage, Joey. He's having a front wing change in the pit lane, but let's still sit. Let's sit around about the middle of the pack, probably
Matty
Roscoe
AU,
at this stage.
Matty AU is actually, he's burning up the field. He just got a move done on Lorenzo. So Matty AU in the Aston Martin is absolutely flying on those mediums. He's in tremendous form.
P8. Let's just have a look at the position change if we can on the screen and just see exactly where he was sitting. So he has gone up 4 positions. That is a fantastic run from Matty AU. Sitting in behind Buster and Scotty at the moment. So up 4, Jedley up 4, Ron Burgundy up 2, T8 unit up 3, Roscoe up 3. Unfortunately, KLX has gone down 12. I'm not sure what happened to KLX. Did we see what happened there? There's almost...
Tyler's gone very loose. He was right behind No Jug and just lost the car, but managed to... It bit him a couple of times, but he held on to it. He's lost a couple of positions, though, so he's back into P7. Tyler was looking to maybe put a move on Jug and thought better of it, and just bit heavy on the throttle on the exit there.
Yeah, I did see that actually. We saw we were sitting a few cars behind when we saw that incident happen. Lucky to get no damage there. Like we were saying earlier, a lot of damage happens around Hungary because it's such a high downforce track. These cars are they're just pushing their cars to the absolute limit on all of the apexes, all of the exits, all of the turns, all of the straights. They're just going to be burning up that ERS, of course, with such high downforce. The ERS is very, very difficult to recover. And just try and use that battery again. So you've just got to save it, like TRL Limitless ends up saving it to the end of the race. So who can we sit on board with, Joey? Where's the action?
Look, there is plenty of action. Let's go back down towards P15 in T8 unit, if you don't mind. Now, T8 unit, he's actually got a couple of the Haas drives in front of him. Broken Reptile just got a move on him. T8 unit was a previous TP at Alpine last season, and he stepped down from that role. I think AlphaTauri finished on top of him last season. Just a bit of a boast there, but yeah, T8, yeah, actually the owner of Oz F1 League, tremendous league over there, and does a great job running that one. So he's actually falling off the pace a little bit. And Medi must have had a spin because he's back in P16 somewhere. Did you see what happened there, Martin?
I did not, to be honest. I did not see what happened to Medi or KLX or who else was I looking at? Ron Burgundy's actually gone up a wee bit. A few cars had a few unfortunate moments there, Joey. I'm not sure what's happened to someone else up the front. What is happening here? There is a battle going on between Buster and Tyler in P6 and P7 at this stage. Let's jump on board with Buster. This is a car round.
No! Chaos!
Oh, there's contact. Oh, that's almost the commentator's curse.
So
no Jug is out. That is a safety car. We have a full course safety. Bert Mylander has jumped in that car. He is heading out to catch the leader.
So we do actually have the first safety car of the preseason. That's Yeah, we didn't get one last race, and we probably should have, because we had about 3 cars facing the wrong way stuck out on track. And but that was rather unfortunate for No Jug. I didn't see what happened. He may have got caught up with either Mash or Tyler, I'm thinking.
I
or
think
maybe
Tyler
just
went
spun
past,
on,
actually. Tyler went past. And yeah, coming into turn 2, it was just unfortunate. After the DRS zone, there was a car reversed on the track that came out onto the tarmac, and I'm pretty sure I was on board with Tyler when he just clipped the rear of that car as it reversed onto the track. But I think the safety car had actually been delivered before that, but I can't confirm that.
I saw there was an Alpine reversing. Just in the heat of the moment, sometimes you get a bit caught out. You're not sure what you're doing when you get caught up in a crash like that. So maybe it was just the movement of the car at that point, and there couldn't be much to be done about it. So look, we've seen a couple of cars jumping into the pits just to take advantage of this safety car. We've got Numbnuts is in, Matty AU, Roscoe, Medi, and Scotty all changing their tyres. Looks like Numbnuts is going on to the hards.
Yeah, I think Tyler will be going. He'll be going to the end. I think Matty AU with a wing change there. Tyler will be going to the end on those hards. So will Matty AU. A double stack by the Astons by the sound of it.
That's really going to cost. That's really going to cost
a bit of time. It really is, but that's okay. It's a long way to go. There is still 30. Oh, can't even do maths. 30 laps, including this one, I think it is. Still a long way to go, and it's just unfortunate that safety cars breed safety cars. However, the top 12 have not boxed. We've only got Tyler, Roscoe, Matty, Scotty, and Medi that have boxed for new tyres at this stage. There was a wing change in there as well. Those cars have come off the soft tyres. There's going to be a few wing changes in there, let's be honest.
There would have been a few after that incident.
Yeah, there would have been a few. That was just unfortunate.
Now, we're only, 5.5 laps in, Martin, but the position changes, they're quite drastic at the moment. You see Lorenzo, in P4, he's gone up 5 positions. Jedley in P5 has gone up 9. Ron Burgundy's gone up 7 positions, so it hasn't taken those two to jump up. And Broken Reptile, of course, up 9 positions. So quite dramatic there from those drivers. They'll be looking to take advantage, getting up closer to the top of the field there and going a bit longer on those tyres, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think you're absolutely right. The meds around here, what are we thinking for meds? Probably 12 to 15 laps, I reckon. Hards will do 20. So, comfortably that is. Meds, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who actually goes in a little bit earlier on those meds. Maybe, unfortunately, like we say, safety cars breed safety cars, mate. So, those mid runners could be hoping for another safety car. Let's say maybe in about sort of 10, but maybe no more than 10 laps. The hard tyre runners, they're going to be hoping for no safety car for at least 20 laps. Maybe a late safety car. Once the tyres start going off, like we said, there is a lot of tyre degradation and tyre temperature issues around this track. So as the race wears on into the mid to late 20 lap range, there could be a few horrible moments, shall we say, for a few drivers. We'll try not to give them the commentator's curse, but there could be a few issues for these drivers causing a safety car.
Yeah, we look to see a few cool heads out there, really, with this race start, with those cooler hard tyres on. And I expect that from these drivers. There's a lot of quality drivers on grid tonight. I think we're on board with Lorenzo, at the moment. Actually, we've gone up one on a Mash Junior in the McLaren. So Mash, you'd imagine, moving up to Tier 1 from Tier 2 last season, and just an outstanding, dominating season that was, the chip winner. You'd think that he'll come off the board rather early in Tier 1 on draft night on the 16th. Make sure you all tune in for that. It's going to be an absolute cracker. We've got a different format for the draft. We're using a type of NBA lottery. So I'm a TP, and being that AlphaTauri finished mid-pack last season, I've got slightly less balls to put in the lottery than, say, McLaren, who finished at the bottom. They've got a few more balls. So depending on the tier, the team principals get to allocate a certain number of balls into each tier, and that'll give them a higher chance of actually getting a pick in that round. So it's a fantastic concept that we've come up with. A lot of guys working hard behind the scenes as we get racing again. Karuma looks like he didn't get too much of a jump on Jacko, his teammate in the AlphaTauri. He's about 4.5 tenths behind. You see Jacko working vigorously to warm up those tyres. Mash Jr. is following very quickly behind, and so is Lorenzo Bro. So Jedley's actually fallen a second behind, so the top 4 are going at it, Martin.
They certainly are, my friend. It's going to be an absolute banger between the Red Bull, the McLaren, and the 2 AlphaTauris. I have to say it's wonderful to see the 2 ATs, P1, P2. I feel very proud that those cars are up there, being that I'm part of the AT family. But Mash Jr., he's going to be looking to capitalise on a few mistakes that
Tyler's
could possibly
around.
be made. Oh, Tyler's around.
That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate for Tyler. Look, KLX, it looks like he's having trouble as well. KLX is trying to push his way through the field. He's actually just spun himself around and pulling back onto the track at the moment. KLX, he was spun earlier on in the race and was working hard to get his way back up. I think it was up to about P12 there, and it's unfortunate. Look, there's a lot of time left to go, KLX. I'm sure you get your way back up to the field. You're not that far behind. All right, let's move a bit up to the action. Looks like from P1 we've got a bit of a train all the way down to P6, I believe. Yeah, even P7. So it's very tight starting after the safety car. Martin, what do you see at the moment?
Currently sitting on board with the Lorenzbro 10959, who is sitting a second behind the top 3. Mash Jr. is just keeping within DRS range. If he can hang on to that 2 laps course after the safety car, DRS is enabled. If he can hold on to that and just save his battery as much as he can, a lot of battery saved in the first 5 cars at this stage of the race. So if he can stay up there and he can use that DRS to save a little bit more of that battery, he can make a move, if he can, in the Mash McLaren. There is not much time. I see Lorenzbro has dropped back a wee bit, and there's a wee bit of a train going behind him. Williams of Jedley is sitting 16th, and of course Ron Burgundy in that McLaren only just under a second behind that car as well. They're all very close together at this stage, apart from maybe T8 unit, who's dropped a wee bit off the pace, and Roscoe has dropped a wee bit off the rear end of T8 unit as well. Down the field, Matty AU 6/10 off Roscoe. A lot of position changes at this stage. It's still early in the race. We're only lap 8 out of 35. There is such a long way to go. Strategy is going to play a huge part in this race. Tyre temperatures, like I've just kept saying all the time, are a huge issue around here. And if you burn your tyres, then you just burn your race, and there is much more chance of you spinning and burning out your tyres too early.
Oh! Meddy's having a really good look up on the inside of Toxic Toast. Meddy's in a very aggressive mood today. I must admit, Meddy's really trying to move that car up the field in the Aston Martin. Meddy in P15, and if you look around there, he's got the move done on Toxic. So he's actually giving him a wave there. They're making a bit of contact. Meddy and Toxic, and then you've got Almighty Gob and Tyler and KLX. 4 of the fastest blokes you'll likely see on track in these 2 tiers. So this whole grid is absolutely stacked full of drivers, and Toxic and Meddy are actually going at it. So let's stay on board with these 2, because Jedley's out. I'm not sure what happened there with Jedley, but he's put it in the wall, and we've got a full safety car, Martin.
We do have a full safety car. That car is spread all over the track like Lego pieces on carpet, my friend. That is just absolutely unfortunate for that man, and it is Burt Mylander. Safety cars breed safety cars. Hungary may not have been the best track. There goes Karama's 2-second lead on Jacko. At this stage, the cars will stack themselves up like Jenga blocks again behind good old-fashioned Burt Mylander, who is one of the slowest safety car drivers I've ever seen in my life. As Lewis Hamilton rightly said, can the safety car go any faster? We're only doing 100 kilometres an hour. And I thought, you know what, 100 kilometres an hour? I would absolutely be crapping my pants doing 100 Ks. So why do you want to go any faster? But
that's it.
You know, it is what it is.
Jacko just faked move into the pits there, just trying to put off the cars behind him. Didn't look like anyone bid on it though. Yeah, as you said, Karuma just lost that 2-second gap that he worked so hard for over those 10 laps. So look, he'll look to try and build a bit of gap again over Jacko, and Mash as well. He's never far off the pace in the top 3 today. Lorenzo, who we know is a Mercedes fan from last season, he's done very well, man, to hold himself up there into P4. Half a second slower, Lorenzo, on Mash's overall pace lap. So that's great data down there from the pit wall. Kaipi as well in the Haas, as we know from the Ferrari last season. He had a bit of an incredible moment taking out the league owner, Timmy. Just ploughed through him, I believe, but these things happen. T8 unit, he's crawled up to P6. As we said before, T8, he's a great bloke, even better driver. Other way around. Matty AU, super impressive. Scotty, the new kid on the block, 793. Look, I've got to admit, he's been super impressive as well. Hasn't been too aggressive, pulling his punches where he needs to. Tyler, yeah, he's been hot and cold today. He's normally way up the top of the
very
pack.
Fast.
Yeah, we know Tyler. I think he's actually a chip winner. Yeah, he is. He won Tier 1 when I won Tier 2, so he's one of the most quality drivers out there. Just having a bit of a tough time out on track today. Ron Burgundy, yeah, same thing for Ron. I'd imagine Ron would have been a bit further up, but he has just pitted and he's on the harder tyre, so he's going to go to the end on those, you'd imagine, along with Broken Reptile behind him. And Buster on the fresh hards as well. Almighty Gob has chosen to go on the fresh mediums along with KLX. You think they'll go 25 laps on those? Unless there's a safety car, Martin.
Well, unless there's a safety car, Joey. That's famous last words, I suppose, mate. To be honest, safety cars breed safety cars. I don't want to say that too many times, but I mean, it is what it is. And yeah, I see Ron Burgundy's actually sitting back where he did qualify in P13 at this stage of the race. But I mean, Roscoe up 9 places. Lorenz Bro up 5 places. Mash Jr. still sitting in P3. I would have thought Mash Jr. would be putting a little bit more pressure, but I think there's such a long way to go. 25 laps to go, including this one. It could be anybody's game at this stage. Numbnuts, I reckon Tyler's got some pace in that car still. There could be anything happen. You know, Broken Reptile in the Haas. He is an absolutely fantastic driver, fantastic bloke, as we all know. So it could be just absolutely a mixed bag. Anybody's game. They could roll the dice. Strategy could be everything around here with that tyre degradation and tyre temperature.
Yeah, of course, Broken Reptile was runner-up in Tier 2 last season, right behind his teammate Mash, and he didn't even race every race last season. He actually, I think he arrived after about 3 or 4 races, and yeah, shot right up to the top. So Broken Reptile, I'm pretty sure he's designated Tier 2 driver this season. I don't think he's been moved up to Tier 1. I may be mistaken. But yeah, you'd have to think he'd be on everyone's list. Quality bloke, fantastic driver. You hardly see any DNFs from him. And Buster as well. Buster reminds me a bit of Broken Reptile. Just quality driver, quality bloke. Never seeing him doing too many silly things. And we've just got word that the safety car is in this lap. Thank you, Race Control. KLX, his night of terror just gets worse. Looks like he's gone in the back of Gob and he's copped a 5-second penalty. So we'll look to see if he pulls in a pit.
Yeah, it looks like he might. Is that a what kind of penalty was that? Can we
on board
look at the penalties at this stage of the race? What have we got?
T8. We're going to go on board with T8
unit at this stage. As the restart does happen, restart.
T8! The commentator's curse! He's put him right into the wall.
He's ploughed into the F1 22 licensed product wall.
T8 actually called that earlier. He called that earlier, so he has spoken it into existence. And just let me tell you quickly while I can. You will believe the story you tell yourself, guys. So that little story that you tell yourself in your head is very powerful. Words are very powerful. You can speak things literally into existence by manifestation. So if you believe that you're a crap driver and you're going to put yourself into the wall and that's what you tell yourself, likely that's what's going to follow. So yeah, just
he's gone around as well.
Need to keep some awareness of your thoughts out there. There's no doubt about it.
100%, and we all know, Joey, of course you run the channel on the Discord about all of these types of things and just thinking yourself into existence, and we all appreciate everything you post up every single time, my friend. It is just wonderful to read these things, see the videos, and just know about our existence and our place in the world. I know it means a lot to the guys out there, and it helps a lot of these boys who might be going through a hard time, and some of those hard times are out on track, some of those hard times are in life. And
speaking
I know I appreciate
times, you. Thank you so much. I appreciate those kind words. Yeah, speaking of hard times, yeah, T8 unit, Kaipi at the moment, and Almighty Gob just off the main pack at the moment. 3 quality drivers that we know very well and likely to get back up there within no time. If we just move a little bit further up the field, let's get on board with Jacko, or maybe Mash in P3. Those drivers, these guys are really setting the pace today. Some of the most quality drivers that you'll see at Inters Racing League, and Roscoe in P5. Very impressive debut from him in the Ferrari. Cool boy, if you could have a standout from these drivers that you gave us a bit of information on earlier, Roscoe, Scotty, Toxic Toast, which of those drivers for you have really stood out so far?
It would probably be Roscoe. His starter, he was from the back. It was actually pretty surprising, because I've never seen him start from the back before, and I was pretty surprised why he started in the back in quali. But yeah, to be up in P5 on lap 13 is pretty impressive. Also, I want to give a shout out to Scotty. He's on the first lap, he started around 11th, and he was up to 6th. He crashed. Now he's up to 7th. So big congrats to those two. They look like they're enjoying it. They're trying so hard to get that TP to sign them. And yeah, they're just showing their skills on a massive debut for them, and they got massive pressure on them, and they're doing so well right now. And that's what TPs love to hear.
So Matty AU is actually having a banger. He is 0.2 off Roscoe at this stage of the race. He is putting in some solid laps. P6 and of course P5 Roscoe in the Ferrari. Lorenzbro in the Red Bull. He's just trying to chase those front three. He is about almost 2 seconds behind, but those top three, they are absolutely running a banger of a race at this stage. Mash Jr. in the Mash Claren. I'm nailing that every time, and I love it. Mash, shout out to you, mate. You will be loving the fact that I just about made you go wide, commentator's curse. I'm so sorry. What can you see?
Lorenzo actually just went a little bit loose. He lost traction, and Roscoe just shot around the outside of the Red Bull, who was just looking to warm his tyres up there with a 13-lap old hards. Matty Au's actually, it's opened the door for Matty Au in that Aston Martin. He'll actually be the team principal for Aston Martin, so he'll be feeling quite comfortable in that seat, and he'll be getting even more comfortable as the season goes along. He's just 5.5 tenths off Lorenzo at the moment, who looks to be, he's back into gear at the moment and got full control of that car. Let's move a little bit down the field. Actually, let's stay up the top because that's where the action is. Let's get on board with Jacko back into P2 and see if he can actually run down the race leader at the moment, Karama.
Mate, there is two warnings for Karama at this stage of the race. Jacko will be hoping that he has not got as many warnings as Karama. He's going to be trying to keep those in his pocket and use them when he needs them. 8 tenths is the gap between Mash Jr. and the front two. Mash Jr. is just managing to 100% keep that gap, as we do see there is a car out of the race, Lorenzbro. I can't see where that's happened, but there is another car out, and
another safety car.
Unfortunately, Bert Mylander is sweating in his boots. There is another full course safety at this stage of the race.
It was it was one of that big right-hander coming into sector 2. It's one of those tricky corners, and it looks like he may have been caught on that curb, I'd imagine. Catches a few drivers out most times when we race around this Grand Prix here at Hungary, so unfortunate for Lorenzbro. But you've got to say, those first 15 laps for the young man, Mercedes fan we know him from, he was in the Red Bull last season. To be in the top 4 or 5 for the majority of the Tier 1, Tier 2 preseason race here, very impressive, very impressive. So it's a big tick from him.
Yeah,
Karama's pushing
Karama's on 15-lap-old mediums at this stage of the race, and he is not boxed. He is coming up on the rear of that fantastic-looking... what is the safety car at the moment, Joey? It's no longer a Mercedes. It's an Aston Martin?
It is. Yep.
It is an Aston Martin.
It's an ugly green and yellow Aston Martin.
It's kind of a weird-looking car, eh? But Bert Mylander,
actually,
again, the slowest safety car driver.
Green's my favourite colour, Matty Au. And we're just gonna move down to. We're gonna stick with Karuma at the moment because his tyres, they're on 47%. We just had word from race control So he's going to be
47.
pushing those. Yeah,
He's
you
going
can
to be
imagine
pushing.
maybe lap 20 would be the limit for Karuma on those tyres. But geez, he looks good in an AlphaTauri, I must admit.
Oh, yes, he does. Of course, AlphaTauri, we're a little bit biased. I think it's fair to say we're a little bit biased towards AlphaTauri. A fantastic looking car.
Well,
we may look to sign him, to be fair, but
yeah. Well, hang on,
you know.
I haven't drafted you yet, Racer, but anyway, so yeah, I'll just run through the team principles.
I better do
Red
well
Bull
tomorrow.
is the league owner in Timmy. Ferrari, of course, is Mash Jr. He stepped in for Mamba, who had to step down for work commitments. Mercedes, Broccolilli is the team principal. Alpine adds, as we know, as execute order. Top bloke. McLaren, Mercy Newer, who was the champion from Tier 3. Alfa Romeo, the one and only Wayne, who is our stream manager and working extremely hard behind the scenes the last 3 days. Wayne's been up, I don't think he's had any sleep the last 3 days, and he's actually broken his Fanatec wheel in the process. So just send a message of condolence to our wonderful manager. He does a great job putting all these wonderful graphics up for us behind the scenes. So big shout out to Wayne. Alfa Romeo team principal. Aston Martin, of course, I've just mentioned Matty Ayew will be the team principal. Jacko, that rapid guy in the Ferrari last season, he'll be in the Haas as the team principal. Broseph, myself, AlphaTauri, and Logan, who we know previously as Racer OCE. Don't get it mixed up again, Racer Boy. He'll be team principal of Williams next season. And didn't he do a great job at Alfa Romeo at the end of last season, pulling in all those fantastic drivers to lift them up off P9, I believe it was. So shout out to Logan, and that's a wrap for the team principals in season 4.
Fantastic stats, as always. Joey, of course, you are the stat man. You are the only man with all of the stats. I'm just the man that sits here and talks absolute. The stat man! I just sit here and talk absolute rubbish, and hopefully the listeners out there, you guys love the stats that Joey provides and the garbage that I provide as well, because we love it. We just love being here in Sky Race Control. It's such a wonderful time. I couldn't imagine any better place to be in the weekend. So as we look at the top 5, we have Karama 16 lap old meds. Safety car is in this lap, heading down through the final sector. 16, I can't stress that enough. Lap old meds 12 and 12. Matty Ayew and Medi in those Aston Martins, sitting on 12 lap old hards. By crikey, Karama's got to be boxing soon, surely to crikey. The rest of the field is boxed very, very recently. So there is the theme tune for Joey, as we are going to sit on board with Buster for this restart. They are very, very compact. They're so compact. Let's just see exactly. It's almost contact between Broken Reptile and Haas. And what's going to happen with Buster? Buster's having a look. Buster just absolutely cleans him up. Cleans up. Medi's had a moment. He's had an absolute shocker. Mashed down in P6. On those fresh meds. Let's
up
go
on the inside of Broken Reptile. These boys are going at it.
They're going at it, Joey. They're going at it. Oh,
look at these Tier 1 drivers.
Have a look.
Look at this.
These guys. Mash is made up too. 3-second penalty for Toxic Toast. Crikey, down through the Mansell corner. This is fantastic.
Buster's tucked in right behind Broken Reptile. He's getting a nice little toe on those. They actually both got on the old 8-lap-old hard tyres, so they'll be going back and forth, you'd imagine, those two. And as we move up further, Mash and Jacko's actually on the 2-lap-old medium, so they're going to be putting all sorts of pressure on Matty Ayew and the Aston Martin in P2 at the moment, who's on 13-lap-old hards. So if we can stay on board with Jacko, he's going to have a look up on the inside here. No, he's going to tuck right in behind. He's going to wait. He's going to use his patience. Karama's actually pulled around. He's hit the wall. That's so unlucky. He had those old medium tyres, of course, so that's what caused him to spin. Super unlucky. Matty Ayew's actually taken the lead. He won't know what to do with himself at the moment. He's come from Tier 3. He's up leading the race in Tier 1. Matty Ayew, let's go, young man. Jacko,
let's go, young man. Let's sit with Mash. Mash has a look down the inside. Mash has a look down the inside.
The two old teammates from last season in Haas, they're going hammer and tongs.
Mash from the Mash
hammer and tongs.
Mash and the Mash Claren Oh, puts himself up into P2 from P6 on the restart. Mash has absolutely mashed himself into the P2. Absolutely fantastic. These guys are just absolutely squared off by less than a second each. He is going to be having a look at Matty AU on those 14 lap old hards. Those tyres on Matty AU's Aston Martin are going to be a little bit cool at this stage.
Burgundy's around.
He's going to need a few more.
Stay up on the top. Stay up on top.
We are going to stay. Well. Jaco, let's just stay with Jaco at this stage of the race. Broken Reptile is going to be trying to lick his lips at this stage, but the top three are just they are covered by an absolute bees bloody. You know what? There is just nothing in it heading down into turn number 12.
PP, that's what it is. It's a bees PP.
It's a BPP.
Your BPP. Get your fuel. Jacko's right behind Mash. We need to get on
3-second penalty.
Oh, Karama's pushing it to get back up there, you'd imagine.
No, he'll be
This
fuming.
is where the action is. Jacko's getting a look up on the inside. Oh, just tucks him right
no
behind
DRS for 2 laps after the safety. Oh, sorry, DRS has been enabled, but they won't get it on the next run.
Same amount of
DRS. They won't get it
DRS.
until the next lap.
Matty
Save that
AU
battery,
will
boys.
Absolutely.
Oh, he goes for the switchback.
Packing bricks at the moment. Oh, I hope he's got a fresh change of underwear after this race because Max is coming up on the inside.
Down the inside.
Matty AU lets him go.
Oh, Mash has got the fresher
Jacko's going to have to
tyres.
be very careful here. Jacko needs to pull the trigger carefully.
Oh, this is the Mansell corner where Mansell overtook Senna in 1989. Oh, what a pass!
Maddie's let him go. That was brilliant there.
That was
Jacko
1989 Mansell and Senna all over again.
Oh, Jacko didn't want to let Mash get
crikey.
too far in front. As soon as he got in front of Matty AU, Jacko said, "No way, mate, I'm going with you. Let's do this."
We've got a Mercedes round.
Tango all the way. Mercedes around. It must be Gob. Is the other Mercedes on track? That's unfortunate. We know Gob. He's an Inter's absolute legend. Tier 2, Tier 1 race winner. Almighty, absolutely legend. All right,
gosh, that was intense.
The top.
We will just stay at the top. Sorry, Stream Manager, we will stay at the top of this race at this stage. Oh, by crikey, that was so intense. Holy.
Yep. Just need to connect with my breath for a moment and refocus.
Take a deep one.
We're on board with Jacko.
So we are going to sit with Jacko as
Mash at the moment.
Mash sets a fantastic lap.
Matty AU's just trying to stabilise his heartbeat at the moment in P3 after absolutely being hunted down by Jacko and Mash. That would have been frightful to experience. But anyway, he's slowly regaining, forming back into a human being, and he's in P3. And actually, Broken Reptile is actually increasing the margin between those two at the moment. He's just 0.6 off, so Broken Reptile, he doesn't want to miss out on those podiums. Very interesting to see the next 13 and a half laps, how this is going to play out. It's been fantastic so far, Martin.
Oh my good crikey, has it what? See, Roscoe's just got past Buster. The Ferrari of Roscoe, and Broken Reptile is hunting. Roscoe's hunting down the Haas of Broken Reptile. He is gaining time like absolutely nobody's business. And he is going to be looking to take that place. The 5 lap old meds of Roscoe, they're just so much fresher, but he's going to just needs to capitalise on those fresher tyres at the stage. Broken Reptile with the relatively fresh 11 lap old hards, but he is. Oh, that Ferrari. We are sitting with Roscoe. He is just moving up on that Haas very, very quickly. Moving up, trying to get himself into a podium position at the stage of the race. He's going to flick open that DRS, as we all know, like a windmill, down the main straight, coming around into turn 1, into the second DRS zone. You do get a double dose as the cars are sparking all over the ground with that higher downforce. The rear wing goes open again. There is becoming a little bit of a train behind Matty AU from P3 down to P6.
Buster's had a moment. Yep, Buster's had a moment. I'm sorry, I didn't see what happened, but what Roscoe was doing to Broken Reptile, Scotty was doing to Matty, I believe, and looks like Scotty may have got the move done there. Matty's actually got a penalty. I'm just going to bring those up at the moment. So he's got 3-second penalties. So does Toxic, and so does Karuma. Yeah, trying to work his way back up at the front after that unfortunate spin after the safety car restart.
So unfortunate, mate.
So unfortunate. So, look, we'll stay back on board with Roscoe because this is really where the action is. KLX has clawed his way back up into P6. KLX, the runner-up to Prince last season, one of the fastest blokes we have here at Inters Racing, so he's done a tremendous job to get back up there. He's just going to wait and see what Roscoe does and see if he makes a move, see if he can take advantage of these two battling in front of him. And, of course, they've caught Matty AU. He'll be looking in his rear vision mirror and wiping the sweat from his brow, probably licking it as well because he'll be thirsty as.
It'll be all over
No
his
water.
face.
Where's the switch? The switch is not
The
on.
switch is not on. Oh, mate, there is a train going on here. These guys are going to be licking their lips, licking their brow, and absolutely licking their foreheads as we go down into turn 1. There is almost too wide as KLX does take a lot of curb there. The DRS opens on the rear of that Alpine. Oh, mate, it is all go. There is a Haas. There is Broken Reptile in just an absolute squeeze. It's going to be interesting. Down to Mansell Corner we go again. There's a few cars flashing. We're starting to become a nightclub again.
You know why Matty AU is actually the big green boat at the moment? He's on 18 lap old hards, so he's really trying to push those. And Broken Reptile has 13 lap old hards, and the 3 cars behind him, 7 lap old mediums: Roscoe, KLX, and Scotty. So that's why those 3 are really pushing Broken Reptile and Matty at the moment.
Roscoe with the 7-lap-old mids, you're absolutely right. He is going to be trying to push those because they can only go about 15 comfortably. There's only about another 3 fast laps in those mids, I reckon, because 10 is just going to be the golden number. Anything after 10, you're going to start to want to think about boxing if there's enough laps left in the race. But at this stage, I don't think anybody will be boxing with the race as close as it is.
Yeah, look, Matty AU, 18 lap old, as he just comes around again, this could tick him over to 9 lap old. As it does, we see him go across the line there, so you just got to hold your nerve. He's got less than 3% ERS, so he's been hitting that thing quite a few times just to keep ahead of Broken Reptile. If Matty AU can just hold on until those medium runners behind him start to fall off, you never know. You never know. He could end up with a podium. I'd have to probably put my money with Broken Reptile at this point, but anything's possible.
Anything is possible indeed. It is just a 3-car sandwich at this stage through turn number 4 into 5. We go. Broken Reptile gets himself a penalty. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's just pushing too hard. Those 14-lap-old hard tyres are just not doing him any favours. He is flashing. Matty AU is flashing in front at the stage in that Aston Martin. It's just not looking good at this stage. I don't know whether he just lets them go, maybe, or...
Broken Reptile, he's been flashing like a 55-year-old pedophile down at the park, so just going off his nut at the moment. Now, if we look up and get on board with Jacko in P2... If we get on board with Jacko in P2 at the moment, is actually less than a second behind Mash.
Yeah,
he's done tremendously well to catch up there. And if anyone thought that Mash Jr. was out of place in Tier 1, let me tell you, he belongs here because Jacko in the top 3 of Tier 1 all last season, and Mash is doing a job on him at the moment. So... tremendous, Mash. You've earned your right, Tier 2 champion, and you've earned your way into Tier 1, mate. You're doing a tremendous job. Let's go.
100%. Jacko only 7 tenths behind. I'm still buzzing from your comments, Joey. That's absolutely fantastic. Oh, Jacko is just running that car absolutely ragged. He's running it as ragged as a nun on a Friday night, trying to catch up to Mash Jr. in the Mash Claren. I nearly buggered that up. Broken Reptile sitting about 7.7 behind. There is a fair wee bit of a gap, unfortunately. Matty AU gets himself a penalty. Oh, sorry, Matty AU disqualified from the session. Oh, he's got the glitch. He's got the wrong way glitch.
Matty AU.
That's so unfortunate, Matty AU.
Mate, that's more strife than a pregnant nun. Unfortunate for him.
That is just the best ever. This is absolutely ramping up to be an 100% banger of a race. As Jacko is actually going to the box. He is sticking his fingers in the box, and he's going to change tyres to... I'm not sure. He might go for some soft, moist tyres, if I'm perfectly honest with you. He's going to go for meds again.
He's gone for meds. He's gone for meds. So...
Yeah, 2.3 second pit stop.
How many stops has he had? Let's have a look. So Jacko's actually made 2 stops. So medium? Is that what we're...
Has he not had any... Nah, pretty sure Jacko started on... Didn't he start on hards?
Okay, well that makes more sense.
Pretty sure he did.
Because, that's not the case.
He's had 2 stops, so he must have gone hard, mid. Okay. Probably would have made more sense for him to go to the soft at this stage of the race, maybe. But I mean, I don't know. Soft probably wouldn't do 10 round here, would they? Let's be honest.
That's pushing it. That's really pushing
it.
Look,
I think even 6 is pushing it on soft round here. It's just such a ridiculous track.
I've got to point out, Martin, Broken Reptiles in P2, he's up 15 positions. So TP's, just take note, Broken Reptiles done a tremendous job, as has Roscoe, who's making his debut here for Enters. He's gone up 12 positions since the start of the race. Roscoe into P4. KLX, of course, climbing his way back up after a couple of mishaps early. I've got a lot of respect for KLX out on track. Tremendous bloke too, great supporter of Inters, and he's back in podium position where I'd expect him to be at the end of the race.
He is 100% podium position. He has got his DRS windmill open. The old letterbox coming up on the rear of that Haas of Broken Reptile is KLX down in towards this turn. This could be a wee bit of a passing opportunity for this man as we head through towards turn 4 under the Pirelli sign. What a fantastic looking Pirelli sign that is into the middle part of the track. Such a weird corner, that one. You can't really see the apex of that corner. KLX gone up 2 positions from 5th into 3rd. It's looking pretty good for this man at this stage of the race. This looks like where the battle could be. Bash Jr. has just run away with this. He is running away like a kid that has just stolen candy from a shop, to be honest. And 10 seconds, nearly 11 seconds, but up 15 positions for Broken Reptile. What a fantastic race, like you were saying, Joe, for that man. KLX, though, having a look. He's going to put the pressure on Broken Reptile into the closing stages, into the closing 8 laps of this race.
Yeah, this is where we're going to find some things out about these drivers, because as I said before, Mash up against Jacko, and Jacko is one of our premium tier 1 drivers, and Mash was holding his own, if not actually putting it on him. KLX is actually putting a move up on the inside of Broken Reptile. KLX is a tier 1 driver, and Broken Reptile was a tier 2 from last season. So if Broken Reptile, it looks like he's trying to get the switch back on the inside. If he can actually match it with KLX, we'll know that he'll belong well up into tier 1, there's no doubt about it. So KLX has got a little bit of a gap on here at the moment. Let's see if Broken Reptile can stick with him through this difficult sector of this race here, Martin.
Yeah, KLX flashing up a storm. He is less than 10% of his battery, flashing it up like that nightclub that we have talked about so many times. Of course, Broken Reptile is sitting above. He is sitting on 19%. So he does have a wee bit more of the battery in the pocket through this middle sector. There's not much you can really make advantage of in here. You've just got to follow, just got to make sure you make all of the apexes. Sorry. Yes?
No, my bad. Jacko just put a tremendous move up on Buster, just going through that middle sector there. It was a really great move. He timed that very well, and looked like Buster just gave him a bit of whip there to get that done. So, yeah, tremendous driver there from...
Jacko almost actually losing that car again.
Giving him a little bit of praise there, and, yeah, just, writes his name in mud for me. But anyway, he held on to that. Well done, Jacko. Up in a P8, he's in the points. He won't have to worry about getting picked up. He's a team principal, so he's just putting his demonstration of a classy driver out there.
I'll tell you what, T8 is going to have a look down the inside of Medi on the main straight, lap 29. Let's go. The Red Bull makes his move, cements his place, in fact, in the TP's minds. By crikey, he is going to be an absolute banger for this race. P6. Scotty 793 has gone up 6 positions since the start of the race. P5. Roscoe, who we haven't really had much interaction with, is up in P4. Broken Reptile, of course, the common names Mash. Mash, he's just run away with this one, but KLX. It's almost losing
T8's
the
had
car.
A moment again. T8's had a moment.
It's almost caught out. There's another car around. Who's that's Medi?
Ron Burgundy, is it? No.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, I mean, Medi, he's had to cut a corner there. Looks like he's just waiting for Ron Burgundy to go around. But, look, that was unfortunate because T8 got the move done on Medi, and Medi had to tuck in behind him like Richard Gere and Pretty Woman, and he just couldn't stick with him there. But he did a great job regardless. Scotty's up in a P5 in that Alpine. He's right behind the newcomer as well. Roscoe up in a P4 in the Ferrari. So those two on debut, tremendous job. Just over 4 laps to go here, P4 and P5 for those debuts tonight. And T8 to claw all the way back up into P7 after running into the wall after the safety car, commentator's curse. He's had a bit of a struggle, but to be up in P7, that's impressive. Just the perseverance. All you drivers out there, if you've had a rough night, just don't give up. Like the Don't Give Up Cup. Keep going.
100% keep going, because you never know. As T8 unit, whoa, that was a moment for T8 unit. Where are the battles happening? We've got Roscoe.
Karuma's having a battle with the wall at the moment.
Karuma's having a battle with the wall. That is unfortunate. Karuma down 11 spots.
Yeah, I think he might be parking that one in tonight. Yeah, he's chugged on the croissant after those crashes, after such a blitzing start to the race, and unfortunately, I think just too much pressure on him trying to catch back up the field there. But we know Karuma's worth. There's no doubt about it. Commiserations to you, mate.
I'll tell you where the race is currently P3, P4, and P5. Broken Reptile, Roscoe, and Scotty, they are covered by just a fraction over a second. Roscoe, of course, up 12 positions. What a fantastic race from that bloke. Roscoe Arm 212. You guys, watch out there, TPs that are watching. Keep an eye on this bloke. It is a wonderful looking Ferrari in the sunshine here, but they are all flashing up a storm. They are all sitting on, Scotty's sitting on, sitting a little bit pretty, but the couple in front, Roscoe and Broken Reptile, sitting on not a huge amount of battery. You wouldn't exactly call them an Energizer bunny. But they are going to be pushing all the way to the end. There is a 3-car run at this stage down towards turn 4. The Mansell corner, like we've said, is a fantastic turn. It's just such an unfortunate corner if you get it wrong and you run wide like Scotty just did then. But he's going to be trying to capitalise on Roscoe and Broken Reptile's issues, shall we say, at this stage, because they're going to be pushing hard. They're going to be pushing those mids very, very hard at this stage.
Ron Burgundy's had another moment, and we've also had word from Pit Wall that Karuma actually pitted for soft tyres, and he'll be looking to put in the fastest lap.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Pit Wall. That is fantastic information this late in the race. It's about 4 to go, including this one. So not a long way to go. It's been an interesting race so far. A lot of things to look at for the team principals with race etiquette, with passing and passing opportunities. So a lot of people think this is just a track that you can't pass on, but I think it's actually an opportunity to show
race director
how you can pass.
Just turn up his voice a little bit.
It looks like the battle is actually for 3rd, 4th, and 5th at this stage. We are sitting with Scotty at this stage as the DRS does open, like we say, as a windmill, which is probably not the right thing to say, but it is what it is, and I believe that is a true fact. So,
open like a windmill. Look, if you wouldn't mind, we've just had a race update. Cool boy, would you mind coming in and just giving that update, mate?
Yes, so unfortunately Numbnuts is sadly done for tonight due to the internet issues that he's had, and he took the right option and didn't want to ruin other people's races, so sadly he is out of the race for tonight.
Bugger. That's
bugger.
Never good to hear that, especially from one of the stalwarts here at Inters. We love Tyler, and we'll know he'll be back at it, and of course he'll be one of the early picks, there's no doubt about it. Just a quality driver. Maddie's actually picked up a 3-second time penalty, so Maddie's actually in P9 at the moment. He's 2.5 seconds off Buster, so wouldn't expect it'll hurt him too much at the moment. Ron Burgundy's 13 seconds behind him, so he should hold on to P9 unless he puts it into the wall. We're gonna stay up the front at the moment. Looks like the battle is on for 4th, so we've got Roscoe, Scotty, and Jacko. So let's get on board with Jacko, I reckon, in the AlphaTauri and see if he can make his way through these debutants in front of him, with Broken Reptile struggling on 23-lap old hards, Martin.
Oh, yes, we are sitting with Jacko. There is 3 cars in front of him. There's an Alpine, a Ferrari, and a Haas. The Haas of Broken Reptile, who's going to be struggling so hard in these final stages of the race. It's going to be an absolute banger. There is 4 cars in a row like dominoes as the AlphaTauri of Jacko comes right into the gearbox of the Alpine of Scotty. Is he going to have a look through the middle sector? It's not really a place that you want to be passing. There is just so many curves. The Alpine almost losing the rear end of that car. The middle sector is such a sketchy wee place. You want to carry as much speed as you can. The Ferrari going wide of Roscoe up ahead of the camera at this stage. This is just such an absolutely wonderful battle. Is he going to have a look? Oh my goodness. The AlphaTauri's going to have a look down the outside. He's going to have a look on the Alpine. Is he going to make it stick? Oh, he does.
Jeez.
Oh, he does, Joey. Oh, he makes it work.
16. You're
Oh my
fearless,
goodness.
aren't you? Look at him go. Look, I don't know
Oh,
how old
look at
Jacko
him
is,
go.
but I'm pretty sure he's a teenager. But what a move, mate!
He is
Unbelievable.
He is as fearless as a 15-year-old going through puberty, mate. I'll tell you what.
He's as
Holy
fearless
crocky.
as a 15-year-old sitting on carpet playing with a controller, killing everyone on F1 who's over bloody 15 years old. So shout out to you, Jacko.
Shout out to Jaco. Let's go, mate. Let's go. What a battle this is going to be towards the closing stages. 2 to go. 2 to go, including this one. It's going
Let's
to be
get
a
on
banger.
board with Buster, if you don't mind. Race control. Buster's just put a move on T8, and these two are having a really good battle at the moment. They're both on pretty old tyres. Buster's rocking the 24-lap-old hards, and T8 Unit's on the 21-lap-old mediums. There wouldn't be much between these two drivers, so let's just see how this unfolds for the next lap.
Yeah, I reckon Buster's tyres are actually on 57%. Those 24-lap-old hards, they're not doing too bad. T8 Unit on 60% of tyre wear. Tyre degradation is such an absolute mongrel, if I can say, around this track. The lowest tyre temperatures you can possibly run is the way to go. High downforce, of course, using a little bit less mechanical grip, so you will hang on to a little bit of tyre wear towards the end. If you do run a little bit lower downforce, it's going to be using those tyres to keep yourself on the track, so you are going to burn them out a wee bit more.
Yeah, Buster, I saw the throw-up emoji when he saw he was in the Williams, so he's probably feeling like a bit of a Buster sitting in that seat. Let's hope he doesn't bust his tyres on those 58% old hards at the moment. T8 Units has fallen off the pace behind him. So we'll move back up. It looks like Jacko is getting a move done on Roscoe, or trying to, so... Oh, Jacko's made a little bit of contact trying to get around the outside. There's contact again. Actually, that's really well done there from Jacko, because if he pulled out, there would have been too much contact. There's too much here. He needs to pull out. Okay, boys. Preseason.
Oh my goodness, go for the switchback.
Preseason, lads.
I'll be honest, that was fantastic.
It was very aggressive, but
that
looks
was
like he got
very
it done
aggressive.
without too much drama. But yep, that's what it's like with these veterans who just won't take no for an answer and full of ego. Let's go.
Let's go. This is it. This is the final part. The final lap.
We're on the last lap. Mash Jr.'s actually just won the race. 12.5 seconds ahead of KLX. Mash Jr. for his debut in Tier 1. I know this is a Tier 2 mixed race as well, but he's blitzed the field. Mash Jr. in the McLaren. Mercy Newer's probably got an eye on him. Probably thinks he looks really good in that McLaren and would like to draft him, you'd imagine. KLX, of course, scraping his way back up into P2 after having a couple of spins early. I think lap 1, someone got into the back of him and spun him around and had a couple of more missteps. But P2, Jacko claims P3 after being P1, P2 for most of the race, so he did well to secure that podium, but only just from Roscoe, who had a debut today. Outstanding. Just 1 second off Jacko. Could have easily ended up with that podium if Jacko showed a little more patience. Yeah, but I thought it was all fair racing out there. Scotty just behind him, tremendous for his debut as well. Martin, how did you find that race? I thought it was thrilling, exciting, great driving out there. I can't wait for Monday and Tuesday. We've got a couple of more preseason races to come, and of course tomorrow.
Oh, what a banger, mate. Of course, you and I will be racing tomorrow night for the Tier 2, Tier 1 race. That was such an exciting race. I know there was a few doubts, to be honest, choosing the Hungary track as a track. Safety cars breed safety cars, mate, and it was one of those races, which is unfortunate, but I think it does show for a lot of these drivers how well they can deal with those high pressure situations. So great driving out there, guys. Absolutely fantastic. I just can't even tell you how excited I am to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah, just a tremendous performance. But just while I'm getting these drivers in, I've got the top 3 I've invited in to have a bit of a word if they're interested. But Cool Boy, after that race and seeing all those drivers out there, of course, Cool Boy, you've been pushed up. I think you'll be representing Tier 2 or Tier 3, depending on where you're drafted into this coming season on Monday the 16th, on draft night. After watching all these drivers out there, what do you take away from that, and who do you think will be your biggest rivals if you end up in Tier 2, mate?
Well, we're gonna have to wait till he gets to tier 2 to find out my biggest rivals, but tonight's race was really interesting. I want to say a big congrats to Scotty and Roscoe, P4 and 5, the debut drivers. P4 and 5, that's pretty good as a newcomer. They definitely have some racing experience, but yeah, as a newcomer to come P4 and 5, yeah, it should be good. But from my end, if I go to tier 2, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season. I reckon I may be up there with Broken Reptile, so definitely want to try and beat Broken Reptile whenever in the season. But that's the main goal right there. But another quick update. Numbnuts' wheel has sadly overheated.
Yeah, I actually did see that. Yeah, he had a few issues tonight, but that's unfortunate for the young man. Look, thanks for that feedback, Cool Boy. It was really good having you in comms tonight for those special comments with the new drivers, and yeah, you'll be a big part of the comms team this year.
Thank you.
Look, we've got Jacko in here. Jacko finished in P3 and he was looking really sexy in that AlphaTauri tonight, I got to admit. It was up there in P1 and P2 with the other AlphaTauri for most of the race, setting the pace with Karuma out there, and Jacko had a couple of incidents but battled really hard. One of the classiest drivers we've got here at Enters is a veteran and ended up getting in P3 today. He'll also be the team principal for Haas. Jacko, just run us through the race, mate. What happened out there for you?
Yeah, so basically, I just thought, you know, after the guy I had in my ear, DTR no drug, had an unfortunate incident. He was just like, I want you to send it, alright? And so what I did, I was like, Mash, you know, you're gonna win. It's gonna be a close battle between us, but you're gonna win, alright? So what I did, I was just like, you know what, let's have some fun. I pitted for medium tires, I went through the fucking field, had a fucking ding-dong battle with a lot of drivers. I mean, sorry for the swearing, but I mean, it was a good race, but ding-dong battle with a lot of people. I did touch the rear end of Medi, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I apologize to him in DMs, and you know, we'll hash it out all good, but yeah,
Sure,
it's a solid race.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, interesting strategy there. That was adding a little bit of fun there for you by the sounds of it, Jacko. But mate,
Yeah.
you tore through that field. You know, it's always a pleasure to watch you out there, and of course, no worries with you being drafted as being the team principal.
Yeah, I was gonna think, yeah.
Yeah. Have you got your eye on any drivers and who you want to draft? Because it's not far away, man.
Yeah, I mean, after that, you know, clinical display from Coolboy, I think I would just pick him tier 1. Tier 1, me and Coolboy.
Alright, the banter
How about
begins.
you guys?
The banter begins. Yeah, nice. I don't think Cool Boy is eligible for tier 1, but yeah, maybe.
I'll have a chat. I'll have a chat to Timmy. See how that goes.
Alright. He's got a bit of sway now that he's the team principal, so
mate.
exciting to see what Jacko pulls on draft night. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, and hopefully, have you ticked in for tomorrow's race as well?
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah.
Sweet, mate. We'll look forward to seeing you out there again, and yeah, thanks for joining us, Jacko.
Yeah, thanks for commentating. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, brother. Anytime.
Have a good one.
And we have KLX in here as well. KLX, I believe, finished in P2. KLX was runner-up to Prince last season in Season 3 in Tier 1. He's probably the classiest driver in my book in the entire league. Hold him in very high regard, and if I get the chance to draft him in Tier 1, it's a pretty likely possibility. So anyway, KLX, I'm going to draft freaking 50 drivers if I can, but KLX, you did get spun on the first lap, is that correct?
Yeah, well, I first want to say thank you for those kind words. No, I just got spun first lap, and then spun like on lap 15 or some crap, so I was like last. So I'm pretty happy with myself to get back to P2, because from what I was doing in those first 15 laps, it wasn't looking like that at all, but you know, gotta keep fighting, I guess.
Well, it just displays from you. You've got some real mettle in terms of just staying within what's happening in front of you. Like you got spun. There was an incident on lap 15 as well. You didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. all you did was put your head down and focus on what was in front of you and ended up getting a podium. So tremendous demonstration of driving out there and not giving up, mate. So well done. Martin, what do you want to add from out there? Was it just fantastic racing out there, and KLX was a big part of it tonight. So what were your highlights out there?
Oh, mate, the whole lot, to be honest. Such a weird track to be trying to impress the TPs. A strategy, of course, we saw a lot of mids, hards, and soft runners at the start, or a couple of soft runners at the start. But what was your strat from the start? Did you sort of have like an outlook where you were like, I'm going to do this and then do that, or was it just sort of wing it?
Yeah, I basically winged it. I had no idea what I was doing. I changed my strategy in the last minute when I saw Mash and No Jug and Jaco going on the hard, so I just thought, I'll just follow what they're doing. But I didn't really know what I was doing. I just came into this, I don't know. I just guessed it. I guess I just followed it, what everybody else did, and I guess it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just pre-season, isn't
enough.
it? You just get in there and give the best shot that you got. But another quality performance out there, KLX, and I'm sure you'll be one of the first names taken off the board on draft night
100%.
on the 16th. So, thanks for joining in today and joining us in comms. There you go. There you go. I'd imagine you'd be on everyone's list, mate. So credit to you when you're driving out there. And like I said, thanks for joining us today, KLX.
Thanks, lad. Thanks, guys,
Thanks,
for the
bro.
brilliant commentary, and thanks, Wayne, for all the new
You're
graphics.
so welcome.
Have a good one.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate those kind words. Look, that's going to wrap it up here for race 3. That was Inter's Racing League. You've seen Tier 1 and Tier 2 just battle it out. And it was a great demonstration, I've got to say. We've got another race tomorrow, 4:30. Tier 1 and Tier 2 will be going at it again. There'll be a couple of...
Mash is in there. Mash is in there.
Jeez.
Mash.
I'm just going to
Mash and the
stop
Mash
talking,
McLaren.
and I'll let Racer Boy take over because, wow, that was terrible from me. Take it away, Racer.
Oh, what have we got? Mash and the Mash McLaren? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Mash and the Mash McLaren. I got to write every single time. I did not balls it up at all. Mash, the man himself, an absolute legend. Of course, absolutely rapid, as we all know. Mash, how did the race go for you, my friend?
Yeah, look, it was fairly straightforward in the end.
My nation.
Qualifying didn't go as planned. I got distracted. I was watching the stream because I was done straight, and then I missed the apex and lost like 3 or 4 tenths, and that pretty much cost me the qualifying. But
Are you blaming us?
was yes. Yeah.
You're blaming our
Sounds
awesomeness. That sounds
It's
like
your
it.
fault. It's your fault.
It's our
I
fault.
heard your voice. I was like, I just couldn't help it.
Cut it out.
But the race was pretty smooth. I think myself, Karam, and Jacko pretty similar pace, so it was pretty interesting battle. I still don't know why Karama didn't pit with us under the safety car. I still don't know, but it made my race a lot easier. And look, from there, I mean, I think I would have gone him anyway, like on the mid. So I sent it a few times on the restart, which was fun. On Broken Reptile, I enjoyed that.
That restart was sensational, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was 4 of you: Jacko, Broken Reptile, Mash, yourself, and there was someone else. I'm not sure who it was, but there was a restart after the safety car for a few laps. You guys were going side by side, the 4 of you, and you got all the moves done, and it was thrilling. You got a double move done at one point there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you went from P6 to
I think,
P4.
yeah, Jacko got like a triple overtake or something. I was like, oh, look, I've got to send it too. I was like, I'll never catch up. So I just sent it as well, maybe I do. And
Oh, it was so good.
Got the meme done. And,
I love
yeah, that
watching you,
was-
Mash.
that was-
You're such a king. It's
Yeah,
so
that
amazing.
was probably the highlight of the race, that restart, making the overtakes on the fresh medium. They felt so good, man. They felt so good. And,
Man.
so good.
yeah.
Impressive, Mash. You just seem to be getting better and better out there. After winning the Tier 2 championship, and then in this first preseason race for you, beating the field by 18.5 seconds is jaw-dropping, to say the least. So continue to dominate out there, mate. I'm sure now that you're in Tier 1, you'll be one of the first drivers picked. There's no doubt about it. You're in absolute a purple patch of form. So
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can't get picked anymore. Unfortunately, I'm
that's
the one
right.
doing
You're
the picking.
that's
now,
right.
so.
I've just stuffed up twice in a row here. So you're the new team principal for Ferrari. That's right. We've missed out on Mamba. Look, Mamba's been a stalwart at Ferrari for like 4 years. It's really hard to get that out of my head. So yeah, congratulations on your appointment at team principal. Have you got your eye on a driver who you'll be sitting next to in Tier 1 when it's your pick? Give us a bit of an insight.
Yeah, look, he knows himself. He knows who he is. I can't give out names, obviously. I can't give out any names.
Is it me?
But,
No.
give us a top 3, Mash. Give us a top 3.
In no particular order.
myself, and myself.
Oh, he's not giving anything away, ladies and gentlemen.
He's giving
Um,
nothing
Yeah,
away.
look, we've got a week to wait, so pretty sure you guys could wait 7 or 8
Actually,
days.
just a reminder to the team principals, get your ball allocation in. We've got until the 10th, and that's the cut-off day, so not long to go. I've got 2 balls going in somewhere specific, and the rest, I'm not sure yet. So we will see what comes of that on the 16th. So, Mash, just once again, thanks for joining us tonight. Demonstration out there is first class, and we look forward to seeing you.
100%. I can't wait to see you again,
cheers, boys. Cheers for the comms. Can't wait to
You're so
go with the stream. GG, boys.
GG, bro.
GG indeed. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Been another epic race here at Inters Racing League. We will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another Tier 1 and Tier 2 mixed race. Race tracks to be announced 3 hours before the race time. Comms will be by Scotty and Shadow, the man himself with the smooth voice from South Cali. Look forward to that, guys. And Racer and myself will be racing. Probably be as funny as our commentary out there on track. Thanks again for joining us tonight, Wayne. You've done a great job behind the scenes. And Racer, just send us off. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen at Hungary, it's been an absolute pleasure. As you know, I just wonderfully love being here in the Sky Race control box with the best man ever, Broseph Cooper, or Joey, whatever you want to call him. He's an absolutely fabulous person, and we will see you guys when we see you
for having me, lads.
on Inters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, cool boy. Your special comments. Peace.